What up? What up?
Hello, hello, hello. GA, Gunny Grunt, Save the Humans, Piner in Florida. Hello, hello.
Can
All
you hear
right.
my Can you hear my GPS?
No, I cannot hear Bib.
Okay, cool.
Yep. Yeah, pretty open topic tonight. I got one thing we're gonna kind of touch on really quick and easy, but other than that, it's pretty much open for the next hour or so with both of us. It looks like. Hang on, let me drop the link out into the chat. So if anybody wants to, they can jump up on in here. Islander fan. Okay, do you have anything that you want to start off with quick before we see how they're going to do this and some of these things that they hide in some of these huge $1 trillion bills that they're passing for everybody?
No, go right ahead, sir.
Okay, I think I'm right where I should be on it, it looks like. Let me unmute it and maximize it. This was a cabinet meeting from today.
Great job. Thank you very much.
Steve,
Where are we and what are we doing?
Thank you, Mr. President. So I'm pleased to report your administration has been hard at work implementing the CARES Act. We've really made incredible progress over the last month, working on putting over $3 trillion into the economy. Unprecedented amount of support for American business and American workers. And I just want to highlight a few of the things. Working with SBA, we were able to develop the Paycheck Protection Program from scratch. That's now impacted over 4.3 million companies, impacting over 50 million workers, $513 billion, having 5,500 lenders working. And we are extremely pleased that we have increased the number of CDFIs and minority lenders and fintech lenders, now making sure we get this across the country with an average loan size of 118,000. So this program is really impacting
the best
American
is coming up.
workers. Working with the Federal Reserve, I have approved 9 special facilities totaling about $2.5 trillion. That's about half of our capacity. And in particular, I'd just like to highlight the Main Street Lending Program, which is for small and mid-market companies, will be up and running by the end of this month. And then I would just comment on the economic impact payments, Mr. President, have really had a big impact. We've delivered over $239 billion to 141 million Americans. And I want to highlight, we couldn't be more pleased. 114 million of those we did direct deposit into people's accounts. We did 27 million checks. And Mr. President,
Here it
we now
is.
have developed debit cards. So in an effort to expedite money to people even quicker in a very safe way, I'm pleased to show you what a debit card looks like with your name on it, Mr. President. Now, there's no money for you on it. This is a blank debit card, but I want you to see what many Americans will now get so that we could get their money to them even quicker. And going forward, we think debit cards are a safe and secure way of delivering refunds.
Do I sign the letter again or not?
The next time we send money, you'll get to send another letter.
So what do we think about this? It looks to be that now these payments that they're giving everybody to pretty much stay at home, it seems to be, out of our taxes, and that they're just printing off out of thin air. And yes, Save the Humans, that is trillions of dollars. They're going to hand out debit cards to everybody now. So you're not going to have the accessibility of putting the money in your own bank anymore, having a check sent to you, anything. It seems it's just going to go straight onto a card of their choosing, of their control.
You know what I think that has to do with is because I think they're planning to send more money, but also, without them sending a check, they're not actually sending out physical money. They're sending out this debit card, which is linked to a bank account where there's some guy in a dark room somewhere and he's just pushing buttons,
Yep.
15,000 on this debit card, 10,000 on that debit card.
Well,
I mean, there is there's no real money there.
no.
It's just an accounting trick, and it's just more debt being shuffled around, that someday will have to be due.
That someday is probably coming quicker and quicker too. It looks
As
like.
the more money they print, absolutely.
Yep. Now they also this is the $3 trillion bill that they just pushed through. The one before that, the $2 trillion bill before that, they actually had money in there put for an online, like a cryptocurrency, like Bitcoin, that they were having, that's their own, that they're going to do also.
Right, the digital dollar.
Yep.
I've been hearing rumors about that.
Yep. That was in the previous bill, in that $2 trillion bill, the first one that they kicked out.
Yeah, this is definitely something that you're going to have to watch. Looks like an easy way to confiscate wealth. They just turn your $100,000 into 10,000 digital dollars, and you lost 90% of your money or whatever.
Right.
Just like when he confiscated the gold back in '33 and paid Americans $20 an ounce, and then turned around and raised the price of gold to $35 an ounce. I mean, he literally stole half of the Americans' wealth in that one move.
It seems to be happening again, is what it seems to. There's been reports. Okay, so a lot of the states are starting to reopen now, and a lot of the places are starting to demand their reopening. Like, demand their reopening. Like, they were protesting down here in Manatee County today. They were protesting in other places today. And some places, the budgets aren't in for the cities and counties yet. So they don't have that tax revenue to be able to account for anymore. And they're saying that they're going to be millions and millions and millions of dollars in debt in their budgets that are coming up. There was a conference of small mayors of America, I think was the name of the conference. And they asked for like $500 million to surplus city budgets that weren't going to be able to be funded come July, when all the budgets are pretty much due and they've got to have them up. I mean, this is what are they going to do with this economy, you think?
To be honest, I couldn't tell you, brother. I mean, like I said, I've thought for years now that it was a miracle that they were able to keep the economy going as it was. A lot of people say, oh, our economy's been doing great. And I like to equate it to, going to like the most impoverished area that you can find. Let's say Gary, Indiana. You go to Gary, Indiana, which is notoriously poverty stricken, and you start giving everybody $1 million there. Okay. And sure, it looks good, in the next 6 months, everything's nice and clean and they're building houses and buildings. And, it looks like the economy's doing great there, but it's all borrowed money, and if you look at the amount of borrowing that has taken place in our lifetimes, when Reagan took office, there was only $900 billion as our debt. $900 billion. I mean, it was 900 billion and some change, but it was under $1 trillion. Okay. And it took us like 200 years in order to build up to that $1 trillion. And so when did Reagan take office? In 80?
Yep.
So you got 80 to 2000. So you got 40 years now. And look how much that debt has grown in 40 years. 26 times more than the previous 200 years. I mean, if you know anything about exponential growth, you know that this is a horror story. I mean, this is going to end very badly. If it's the only way it can end is badly. I mean, it's when you deal with math, you're dealing with certainty. Okay, one is two. Okay, and when you look at the exponential growth of our debt and the resources that we have to pay it with, you realize that we're screwed. We're absolutely screwed. Okay, and the only way we're not screwed, or that we could even come close to not being screwed, is to take away all Social Security, Medicaid, and Medicare. That's $100 trillion worth of debt right there that we got to pay up every year.
It's huge amounts.
It's a huge amount. We call it an unfunded liability because people don't grasp what that unfunded liability is. But I break it down pretty easy. Your mortgage is an unfunded liability. So why you might not owe the $150,000 that you owe on your house today, your ass still owes that $150,000, and you will have to pay that at some time, or you'll lose your house.
Oh yeah.
It's the same way here with the government. $100 trillion in mortgage. Consider it a mortgage. $100 trillion. How the hell are we ever going to pay that? The government only takes in last look, which was a couple of years ago, but $2 to $3 trillion in taxes. At that rate, let's bump it up. Let's say it takes in $5 trillion in taxes every year now. For $100 trillion, you're looking at a crazy time of every single dollar going to pay that off. I mean, it's unsustainable. Any way you look at it, any way you cut it. And that's just not Social Security and Medicaid and Medicare. I mean, look at your local cities and look at the pensions that they're giving to these city workers. Okay, you're paying $40,000 and $50,000 a year to be productive, to do some work for you, and then they retire. And, in their 10th year of retirement, they're getting 50, 60, almost double what they were making when they were actually producing something. I mean, what idiot thinks that that's sustainable? What person thinks that you could pay somebody double what you were paying them when they were actually freaking productive?
Right. And it was only half productive at that point, too.
Right. And the people that take these pensions, how do they not see it? You know what I mean? Like if somebody came to me and be like, "Hey, George, I'm going to pay you $30,000 a year to actually work. And then when you retire, you're going to make 60 grand a year." What person says, "Oh, that seems logical. That makes sense." Who are these idiots? And then, it's greed. Everybody's like, "Oh man, yeah, I got that great pension." And I got news for you. Most pensions are underfunded, 50 to 80%. That's public and private companies.
Yep.
So, this pension scheme that we've been living on, it's a Ponzi scheme. Same thing with Social Security. The people that started in the Social Security system, they got paid out handsomely. But as time goes on, each retiree gets less and less benefit. It's a Ponzi scheme.
Hey, Peanut, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
I've been listening to y'all. I'm a property owner, and I have rental property, mostly on the coast in South Carolina. And we're looking at possibly a 15% for the month of June. We'll be lucky if we get 25% in June and at the maximum 50% in July. So the coastal communities are hurting really, really bad. So I have to commend the committee or the commissioners or our elected officials here in North Myrtle Beach they've done an awesome job by ignoring a lot of the drama that's going on. And they opened because they knew the community here was suffering. So, yeah, we're taking a very hard hit here. And, you know, a lot of people don't understand that. Those of us who are investors within the shore community or the coastal community, you know, our income comes in 3 months, June, July, and August. And that's what we live off for the rest of the year. And it's deader than a doorknob here.
It looks pretty quiet out there.
Yeah, it's real quiet. You know, we did have a little bit of action last weekend because it was absolutely gorgeous here. And the thing that disturbs me the most is I was
Wolfie,
heavily involved. I was heavily involved early in 2000, from 2000 to 2007, with the safety and efficacy of prescription drugs. I testified before the FDA and Congress. And I'll tell you, this is all about a vaccine. And yeah, I mean, I watched Wolfie Gladly earlier today through his live stream.
he was at the gym, right?
Pardon me?
He was telling me he went to a gym where they were like shouting commands at people and arresting them.
Yeah.
And giving them fines.
Yeah. Yeah, and it was so bizarre because right before he went on, I had just finished watching Governor Murphy during a live stream, and he was congratulating the mainstream media for putting out his so-called agenda. And I'm like, and he said that according to the woman that was with him, those who are going to be vaccinated are those who children in DCF care. The second is going to be, yeah, they're the most vulnerable.
All the voiceless people.
They don't have a choice.
Yep.
No decisions there. The second are those who are mentally disabled. Those are the next. And then the those in nursing homes. And we already know, and within the nursing homes, they were dying well before COVID came into effect. They were dying from antipsychotic prescription medications. And Senator Grassley brought this up back in 2004. And there was a congressional investigation where these drugs were haphazardly prescribed to those in the nursing home to subdue them. I don't know what word to use for it. Because, yeah, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And, you know, and the more upsetting thing to me is the gentleman who is the czar. And I'm a registered Republican. I'm going to make that very clear. But the czar for President Trump, he's a representative of GlaxoSmithKline. That company is guilty for killing children over their drug of Paxil for suicide and held it from the community. The Lyme disease vaccine, which was taken off the market, killing children in Nigeria. That is a bad dude.
GlaxoSmithKline just a few years ago got a fine of, I think it was $500 billion, $500 billion, and they shook it off like no big deal.
Right, Crispy, it was $3 billion. And you know how
$3 million? Is that it?
$3 billion. You know how I know? Because
was that a B or an M?
I was one of the parents who sued GlaxoSmithKline because
about the doctors getting bribed. Okay. They've been sued a few times. There's another one where doctors were being bribed and they got caught bribing doctors.
Right. Rice Krispie, I may be
Yeah.
Peanut 411.
I was going to say, are you Peanut 411?
I'm Peanut 411, but I'm also going to give you my real name, Lisa Van Sickle. Google me.
Okay. I want to thank you so much for your support. You've always shown me so much support. I thank you so much.
And Rice
I mean
Krispie, my nephew served in Afghanistan and Iraq, a Marine. He ended his career as a staff sergeant.
Wow.
Love you, darling. You are a Marine, and we love
Thank
you.
Yeah, I didn't stay in that long, but I did earn the title. Thank you for supporting me. I mean, trolls are gonna troll, you know.
Once a Marine, always a Marine, darling.
That's right, man.
No matter what.
And thank your son. That's my little brother. Thank him for carrying on the tradition of honor, courage, and commitment, especially in the war zone. I didn't join when it was wartime. He does. That takes valor. So
yeah,
thank him for me.
It wasn't my son. It was my nephew. He served in first Iraq and then Afghanistan.
Okay.
But anyway, I support.
I almost doxed my location.
I support your rights, Christy, no matter what.
I appreciate you, man.
All right. Love to y'all. I'm going to check out.
All right. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Oh, can I say one more thing?
Yes.
To Rogue Nation.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much for educating me on how to do freedom of information or open records request. I really appreciate that.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, same here. He taught us all. Thanks, Cap.
Yep.
Yeah. You know what? Investigate the czar under the president, GlaxoSmithKline. They are dirty birds, and
yeah,
they've killed enough children, and hopefully someday it'll stop.
Yeah.
Right.
Your mouth to God's ears.
Love y'all. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
She is a very nice lady. Thank you, Peanut. And I think it was it HPR who put up something? What was that? No, Hillbilly News put in a pretty good comment a little bit ago.
There's a couple of them. Yeah, there's been a couple of those there. It was that one possibly might have been the one before that.
Yeah.
There's been several good ones.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find it. This one?
Yeah, thanks for letting me crash the party. I know tonight is you guys' night, but I was going to try to upload a video, and it didn't work.
So. It didn't work, he says.
No problem, brother. You know, I'm in the middle of driving, so.
Yeah.
Drive
safe, man.
55!
So how was that interview? Can you talk about it or no?
Yeah, it was good. It wasn't an interview. It was off the record. But
okay.
And by off the record, I mean, you know, obviously no names, but we're going to be putting together a piece, me and Wrights, later tonight. We've got some surveillance work to do, and we're going to be putting together a story. And we've got some high profile, high connected people in the area that are feeding us information about some of the goings on in this area. And you know, of course, without solid proof, we can't name names. We can just allude to what we feel might be going on, and you know, without naming names. But it's a good old boy system. Like in most counties in America. Doesn't matter where you're from, except major metropolitan areas are good employees, but not as entrenched as out in the country. Where the families. One county here in Florida, they said the same family's been sheriff for 70 years, the grandfather, the father, and now the son. So when you got one family with that much power in the county for 70 years, stuff's not kosher.
Son, now that you're old enough, I can tell you what Jim Stevens and how to hold it over his head so you can do stuff. Solo Jacker.
Oh, what's up?
Yo, Solo.
Oh, Solo. Oh. That's my job imitation.
You have my money.
God damn it, man. I got to do something about this lighting thing out on my back porch, dude. This sucks. I feel like I'm in the dark, man.
Where's your mag light?
I had to give it away, bro.
Oh.
Wait, yeah, because he got, how many subs are you at now?
Just under 34,000. Hey, Rogue, I'm coming for you, bro. I'm coming for you, Rogue. You're mine
Coming
now,
for me?
man.
We both are. We're right on your heels,
coming
man.
For you, bro.
Hey, the more the merrier, my friend.
That's for sure, man. We can never have enough auditors out there on the streets, man. Never. But yeah, friggin' actually, if you don't know, I'm actually really excited about the Andy the Gun Guy interview.
Me too.
This is some bullshit. I need to get a light out here.
I reached out to him on another one of the videos. Did he see that? Did he talk to you about saying that?
No, he reached out to me after whatever happened, and then I went and talked to Rogue, and I was like, "Hey, Rogue, do you want to get on a live stream?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I think that's that would be the kind of me being kind of like in that First Amendment audit. I'm not calling myself a whole percentage of First Amendment, but I've done it and I've been there and I've done it before. But I didn't agree with how he was trying to, especially go after Rogue or any of you about calling you a troll, about trolling people. And just like Rogue said, it's just like the person that open carries or concealed carries. It's the right. It's the right to bear arms and expressing that right.
I made a comment on that video too, I think.
Shoddy Wi-Fi. I made a comment on his video about the Orlando cop choking out that one dude. And I was like, see, man, this is you posted this because it's accountability. Now, in the spirit of this video, come and set the record straight, correct yourself, because that's the best thing you could do right now. It would be such a good look if you realize, hey, I prejudged you guys. You're right. You did the right thing. That's what I'm hoping for, but I don't know. He seemed very emotionally charged, talking about his drama with someone else named Ramekin, or what was the other dude's name? He says, I hate him and he hates me. I'm like, don't hate anybody, dude.
Yeah.
He's talking about Sean from Open Carry.
Yeah. And, like, people can have their differences. And, once again, if I ever have any differences with anybody, I try to just say, hey, this is why I do it. And if they don't want to listen to it, I just keep moving on. Because, something, just like Rights Christie's, Eyes on the State, News Now, South Florida, Captain Awesome, all of us, we all have the same one saying that we're hurting the cause, we're not doing anything good. And some people don't realize the good that comes from this. The good that comes from this is when you're the one doing it and the police try to violate your rights. And then you're like, something? I know the right because I've seen the law. I've seen them talk about the law and everything that goes about what we do. And that's what half of it is. It's about education.
Yeah. Yeah, heckling in the background, like, oh, he's a scumbag. I know it all already, even though I just met him. That doesn't help with people who are actually trying to make a change and trying to educate someone, And don't wait till somebody's really drunk to debate about their mom's country, because that's not fair. I'm gonna take you to Dominican Republic, and you're gonna love it. You'll see.
Yeah, can't wait.
Hey, Solo, what's going on, buddy?
What up, man? I'm just chilling. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, my friend. I'm doing good. Hey, I just got my fishing license today, so both fresh and salt. So if you want to come out Arcadia way anytime, you let me know.
I think there's a revisit due. A revisit to it starts
To where we went.
It's an S.
To...
It is a county. I'm definitely gonna eventually head back to Pinellas. I want to bring, but next time I'm gonna bring like 50 people with me.
Nice.
I'll be there, bro. I'll definitely be there. I really wanted to be there that last time, man, and it's too bad you were alone, because I don't think they would have done that happy horse shit if you had more people with you.
I'm so mad because I was with Solo the whole freaking morning down in Punta Gorda, Port Charlotte, and then I was like, "No, I'm gonna head home. I don't think anything's gonna happen up in Pinellas." Man, I'm so mad that I didn't go.
Yeah, you should have known that was wrong.
Well, we just spent the whole morning in Punta Gorda and Port Charlotte, and nothing happened. So,
like, dude, they were driving around. They did the little loop around. Like,
they've been trained down there, though.
Solo Yacker guy, dude. Solo Yacker's here. Don't talk to him. Leave him alone.
yeah, that was a shame.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. They're like, you don't know where it's gonna come from. Like, some of the counties I've been to, I thought it was gonna be a lot worse, and it was actually like really smooth. But some of the counties, I was like, oh, nothing will happen here. That's where it was like, oh, whoa.
Gunny Grunt's asking you, Solo Yacker. He's 70 years old. Does he need a fishing license?
No, he does not, but he will have to give up his ID to prove his age. It doesn't matter, fresh or salt water. You can, if you're over 65 in the state of Florida, you do not need a fishing license. But you will have to prove your age if the cop is questioning if you're 65 or over.
Hey, Cupcake. Now, do they check everybody's?
If the second that you are engaged,
like when you do a mass Second Amendment audit.
I've never had that happen other than in Miami. Miami Beach is the only place that I've ever had the cops. Every person that showed up for the event got ID'd when they showed up, or they got their fishing license checked. But
Gunny,
that's the only thing about the law that I hate is that I have to provide a fishing license. I have to. If they ask for it, I have to give it.
I thought I saw in one of your videos, Solo, maybe I'm mistaken, but I thought I saw you say to the cops or say to the viewers, I can't remember, that you only had to show your fishing license to Florida, to the Florida Fish and Wildlife.
Fish and Wildlife?
And I was wrong about it. It's actually a Florida statute. I'll have to get that statute, and we'll get that to everybody. I might look that up now. But there's actually a Florida statute to it. There's attached. So any law enforcement that enforces Florida law, they can ask for it. I'm going to say this. Most police officers don't know the fishing regulations as the size limits of fish, but they can hold you until FWC gets there to check your fish. And that's, once again, these are things that I hate about the whole fishing open carry, because I shouldn't have to give up my ID while I'm fishing because I'm fishing. I'm not breaking a law. Now, if you saw me catch an illegal sized fish, or you presume that's illegal, yeah, I get it. But until that happens, I don't agree with any of it. But it's just the way it is. Unfortunately, I try to fight it as much as I can.
Now, are they allowed to just search your cooler without, reason? That too?
Yeah, if they think that you have fish in it, they can search. They can actually search your vehicle if they think that you have fish in your vehicle. If they think that you're stowing fish in your vehicle, you have a cooler in your vehicle, they can search your cooler for fish. But they can't. And once again, they're going to be searching your cooler, they're not going to be searching your car. If they were to like dig through your car and find 15 grams of fucking heroin or something, you're gonna get off of that because they can only search for the fish in your cooler.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not that I do heroin. I'm just saying that's part of the search and seizure. Like if they're saying I'm looking in your cooler for fish, and then they find
Right.
something else not in the cooler, then that's
What?
Some shine.
Well, you ain't fishing unless you're smoking crack too. But I mean, hey.
Yeah, you know that's the way it is. You know.
So what if I took the fish and put them under my seat? I did good then, right?
As long as that fish is dead and they can't see the tail.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
I'm just saying, fish, man, when they start flopping around, they make a lot of noise.
Right, no, you got to hit them over the head and then put them under the seat.
Hey, so
like the tall tale heart.
Yeah. So something you said that I honed in on, Solo. You said that that the law enforcement can hold you. I think is the word you used. I'll use the word detain. They can detain you until Fish and Wildlife gets there. Now, in a normal circumstance, there's kind of case law that supports an amount of time to be detained. Right. Would that 20 still minutes. Would that 20 minutes still kind of apply?
Absolutely. It's all about time because now they're going to go into really restricting you from your freedoms and being allowed to, like, when they did, like, let's just say the police do detain you and say you have that fish until they get there, you can continue fishing. You can continue going about your day, about whatever it is that you were doing. But until they can check like, if you were trying to leave, yeah, I would say that in that 20 minutes, I thought it was 15 or something, but 10, 15, 20 minutes, as soon as it becomes accessible, that's when I'm like, you know something, if you don't have somebody, you already have my name, you already have my information, I'm going home. And they can come to my house and they can check the fish then or whatever. Or if they want to measure it and see the legality, like they can't stop you for that long a period. And usually FWC is pretty quick because they're usually already around waterways.
Right.
I've never seen FWC take more than like 5 minutes to get to anywhere.
Yeah, they're not swamped with police work.
Yeah.
Look at what they're going after.
They're already sitting at boat ramps and like populated fishing spots and things like that. So,
man, I see people who are indigent and they manage to scrape up enough for a fishing pole so they can get themselves some dinner that night. No, they didn't have enough for the, what is it, $120 something for the license?
Yeah. Well, for the weapons license?
No, for the fishing license. How much is it?
17, but even still,
$17.
$17.
Oh, okay.
$17 is still a lot for those people that can't afford a lot.
Yeah.
You know, and the one thing about Florida law is that if you are from the county, like if you're fishing in Volusia or St. Lucie or whatever county you're from, and you don't have a fishing license, just don't take a fishing pole that has a reel on it. Long as you have no retrieval device, long as it's just basically like a cane pole or a fishing pole with a line on it.
What about a yo-yo?
You could use a yo-yo if it doesn't matter. If it's a string and a hook, you don't need a fishing license as long as you're from that county. If you go crab fishing, like that's going to be one of the next ones I do, is going crab fishing without a fishing pole. I don't need a fishing license as long as I have a piece of chicken on a string, and that's it. If it's just chicken on a string in a dip net, I don't need a fishing pole. As soon as I put a retrieval device on it, like a crab trap that has like an enclosure for crabs, that's when I need a fishing license. But if it's just a string with a piece of chicken and I drag them in and I scoop them up, I don't need a fishing license. So
now can you open carry while you're doing that as well?
yes, I can, because technically
you can open carry while cane fishing pole. That's awesome.
Cane poles or even just a fishing pole with a piece of line on it. And as long as it can hit the water, you're good.
Interesting. I wish I'd have known that.
Yeah,
5 hours ago before I bought 35. I wish I'd have known that 5 hours ago before I bought $35 worth of fishing license.
actually used to go fishing.
Dude, you should have called me. I would have told you. But
I didn't know, but that's all right.
For saltwater, they actually have it's called the shoreline fishing license. It's like $1.50 or something after you have to get a printout, but it's like $1.50 or $2 or something, and it's a free license, but you pay $2 for a printout. So $2 you get a free fishing on saltwater, long as you're not in a boat. Long as you're fishing from somewhere you can access by land, that's what that license is good for. And that's what like a lot of like down here we have a lot of Haitians, a lot of Spanish people. That's the license they use. It's $2 and they can go out and they can catch fish. I've seen a lot of them catch illegal fish and keep them, but you know, I'm not going to call the police on them. I don't agree with it, but you know, they're 100%. They're feeding a group of families, like families, not one family, like 6 families.
Right.
So I kind of get it. And me, I'm always going to do the right thing, but if somebody needed to feed their family, I wouldn't hate them for it, because I get it. I understand it. With no victim, no crime.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a yo-yo. Exactly.
If I've hurt nobody other than the fish, there's no crime.
Hey, so let me ask you a quick question, since I just bought a fishing license today, and I got fresh and salt. Where can I go to get a decent, like, pamphlet or book or trifold that tells me kind of what some of the legal, amounts of fish I can get, sizes, types, maybe like a little identification guide? Like, what's something that's a good thing to have with me?
There is going to be, I want to say it's on FWC's website. It's something that I don't know. It could probably be printed out, but it's not in a trifold. I know there's some fishing rulers that have, like, you know, all this, like the species of fish. Let me do some work on that. I'll get you something that you can always have with you that will give you a picture of what the fish looks like.
Yeah, I would need that for sure, because I don't know crap about the fish down here.
Yeah, because they are very extensive and they are very different from fish to fish. And if you don't know fish types, because you're probably not going to know the difference between a mutton snapper and a mangrove snapper.
There is a 0% chance I'll know the difference.
Yeah, and there's two different size limits for both of those. So
yeah.
Guys, we got some comments from Google user talking about organized, community organized stalkers, I believe. The comment went up and came down too quickly. Oh yeah, organized community stalkers are. I do not know what organized community stalkers are, Google user. If you'd like to hop in the panel and tell us a little bit about them and some of the story there. You said that you were trafficked.
Links in the chat for it.
Yep, links in the chat for it. You can come on up and talk about it, because I can't see the comments, so I can't communicate with you about it.
I'm trying to bounce him as best I can.
Hey, so what were you guys talking about before I hopped in here?
It was just a hodgepodge. We had gotten into some financial information. There was a video that Eyes played about this new debit card stimulus thing they got going around. Um, just basically going over the whole "we're screwed" concept again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Oh.
The short and sweet of it.
Yeah. Heard that. Heard that. Let's take more of the people's money to give to the government, and them not do a fucking thing except for violate our rights. Or sorry, fudging. My bad.
Yeah.
I was
yeah.
saying, I was saying in the comments earlier before I jumped on the panel, I was saying in the comments that it doesn't really matter what our debt is now because it's not like we're going to pay China back at this point.
China ain't gonna get another cent after this, dude.
Well, listen, that's not even it. We don't even owe that money to China. I mean, it's like a couple $1 trillion we owe to China. But when you expose meth making, dealing cops, and they organize everyone they know to harass you on a daily and terrorize the hell out of you. Yeah, I can believe something exactly like that. Google user. Now I lost my train of thought on what we were talking about. What were we just talking about?
You were saying that we don't owe China that much money, that
Right.
most of it we owe to ourselves, kind of.
Right. Like I said earlier, the $100 trillion is owed to Americans through Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, and then you've got pensions on top of that. You've got government pensions. You've got federal government pensions. You've got state government pensions. You've got county and city government pensions. Everybody, this pension plan was set up, and everybody that partook of it in the 50s and 60s and 70s, and yeah, they're living a good life now. They've got the golf courses, and they're in the villages and what have you not, and they're living a good life. But as we all know, with any Ponzi scheme, as the more time goes on, the recipients get less and less money, and that's what we're seeing with Social Security now. My mother's 76; she'll be 77 in a month or two, and for years they've been cutting out her cost of living increases because they say there's no inflation because the government fudges the inflation numbers. I mean, how hard? I mean, what a great scam is it if I have a bunch of employees and I tell them, well, I'd like to pay you this month, but since nothing really costs anything, I'm not going to pay you. I mean, what kind of fairy tale world are they living in?
That's the comment that Totally said that I read. He said, once they turn 65, those bootlickers are going to be on our side when they're not getting their money.
Right. And I don't know about most other people's analytics, but my analytics show me that my biggest portion of subscribers comes to me from the 55 to 65 year age range.
Wow.
And that's because, they realize, they see
it's looming.
Right. And some of these people have even worked for the county and the state and stuff. And so they're starting to realize, hey, maybe I was sold a bad bill of goods here.
Yeah.
Maybe Rogue, knows what he's talking about and can help, see our way through some of this. Nassau County, Florida. Yeah, Google user, definitely get in touch with me. I want to talk with you. My emails and all my video descriptions, patriotdiscussions@gmail.com. Hit us up. I see the kitty. That's a pretty kitty.
Meow.
Her name's Tigger.
A little kitty.
His name's Tigger.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that was the same cat from the other night.
Yeah, this is my new one.
Because of all the wonderful things he does.
Yeah. Bouncy.
Like sleeping on your face at night, like when you go to bed and you wake up and you can't breathe because there's a cat laying on your nose and your mouth.
Dude, that's my N75 mask or N95.
That's funny.
Oh, and that just reminded me. Okay. If anybody here saw that video about them trying to violate your Fourth Amendment right to get on a beach in Martin County, I went to the town hall meeting or their council or commissioners meeting, and I broke out the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, the Fourth Amendment, Title 18, Section 242, Warren versus District of Columbia, and then I just went straight into a rant of calling him out. Like, if the police have no obligation to protect us, then none of you guys here have it. And our beaches are going to be open on Wednesday. I went out and open carried on Monday, and they just posted a news clip that Martin County beaches will be open for everybody on Wednesday. I don't know if I had something to do with it. I think I did, but I'm just saying, that's that accountability is actually telling them, hey, if you're gonna, like, I called Rogue and I was like, I'm out here about to push the limit, and I'm not gonna bend over backwards for it because I'm already on the beach. And there was another statute that defines what is sovereign lands here in Florida. I believe it's Chapter 10, Section 11, sovereign lands, and they clearly define where the high tide is, where it stops, where you see all the seaweed and everything. That is the high mean. So from that point all the way to the water is sovereign land. Like, anybody can be on it. The county, only the state has control of that part of it. And I was legitimately almost ready to go to jail that day for it, and come to find out that they're about to open it up. So I think I had something to do with them reopening the beaches.
I believe you did too, brother.
Yeah, I wasn't letting this go. And those commissioners didn't know what they were dealing with it before they dealt with it. Had no clue, clueless. And I think that's who a lot of First Amendment auditors, all of you, everybody on the panel, James Madison audits, everybody, about sticking up for something that you believe in. Florida Carry, the organization that I kind of represent, it's about standing up for something and not bending over backwards because the government doesn't like it or people don't like it. I don't care if I don't care. I care about people's feelings, but I don't care about people's feelings. If it hurts you, okay, go about your day. But I really don't care if it makes you cry or if it makes you upset. I don't care. I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing because I care about it.
I was thinking about handing out coloring books and crayons.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's that, to make people feel better?
Yeah. So when they're crying, they can go to their safe place in color and make themselves feel better.
Maybe
gotta
bring a
the
pack
safety
of cold
pin.
stars.
100%, bro. 100%.
Yeah. Oh, that's what the gold stars are.
Hey, before we jump off here, guys, I want to remind everybody that next Monday, Mandy, the gun girl, has challenged me to come on and talk with them, live. So we're going to do that. Solo Yakker's going to be there. If you could get with Solo Yakker or Andy and see what we need to do in order to get the stream on our channel as well. Because he said that we can run it through all 3 channels on Restream. So he said he needs like a one-time code from you.
Okay, I'll have to look and see what we need for that.
Yeah. So he said he needs like a one-time code from you.
Okay, I'll have to look
into
into
this stream. That stream he's talking about will be an amazing stream because it's gonna kind of hopefully bring. Not to say that the first and second amount were separated, but
hey there, Andy News.
It's gonna help. It'll help kind of maybe open his eyes to a different light of it. Because I've been in that light, and I know where Rogue's coming from. Eyes on the Stage, News Down South Florida, all the auditors. I've gone out with Rogue, so I understand the First Amendment half of it and why they do it. There's some auditors I don't specifically agree with how they do it, but it's their right, and I'm not going to criticize them. I'm not the guy that's going to go out and say F you, F-bomb this, F-bomb that. And I always say the way Rogue does it is about the law. And the same thing with Rights Krispies, same thing. sometimes I think rights. I'm not being hypocritical, but sometimes you're a little pushy, but that's your right. But you've also been pushed back by people, and that's your right is to fight back against whoever. And I'm not criticizing Rice Krispies at all. I want to make that very clear.
Yeah, I think that's
Not
one of his
criticizing.
endearing qualities.
Yeah. No, and same thing. I've got like this sense of humor, like it's kind of like that sarcastic, dickhead, friggin' sense of humor. And I've been criticized for, oh, why are you trying to start shit with your fucking stupid shit? And I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm a little bit of a sarcastic asshole, and that's the thing about auditors. None of us are all the same. We all have our little things. And I will not criticize any First or Second Amendment auditor. Do I think cursing is the best thing? No. I think some of those people that do just a whole F-bomb this is doing it sometimes for views. But you look at Rogue or Eyes on the State or News Now South Florida, where they actually go through the process of showing you, here's the record request, here's all this information showing you why they think that we're the bad people when they're actually the bad people. They've done everything. You guys do a lot of the things right. I'm not going to criticize people. I just don't agree with all of it. But I agree with the right. The right, I will not stand. I will stand 100%. I will second them along with you all day. I will be protection from these tyrants.
Hey, Solo.
We all have to stand together.
Hey,
Thank you.
I'm not criticizing you, Rice Krispies. I'm not.
No, I'm working on it. I agree totally. I really
Trust me.
when I went out with James Madison, we went to the bar. I felt like, yeah, maybe I went too hard. He's like, yeah, you went too hard on that one. I'm trying to be more like James, man.
Hey,
Right.
There's a line.
By the way.
When
Rice
they
Krispies.
escalate it to that higher level, that gives you every right to escalate it. But to go straight out and go, fuck you, or darn it, man, F you, and
Yeah.
you're a friggin' this, and you're a friggin' that, and you're a friggin'
Hey, listen, I dropped an F-bomb today, but it was in a humorous situation, and I even got the cop to laugh actually. But and I don't want to give away any of the video because we're gonna put the video up, I'm sure. But it was pretty funny what had happened and what I had said.
Tell me about those other guys' channels.
Oh yeah. We also
Google
went out
user,
today.
definitely send that.
Yeah, we went out today with Poor Dirt Farmer, My Eye on You, who's another great guy, and Dutchman Nation. So we had a total of 5 of us going out today. It felt really nice. Felt really good.
Worked well together, and
Yeah, everything went pretty smoothly. There wasn't. We got to where we were going around noon, so we didn't have a lot of time out there. But me and Wrights are gonna hit the beat early tomorrow. So hopefully we'll have some more good content coming up. Any news on the street? Good to see you, brother.
Yeah, man, continue. Hey, Soul Yacker, big fan. Love what you down there, and love to see Florida be a little looser on their gun laws and all that. Hey, got a question for you. Not to put you on the spot, but I'm gonna put you on the spot. I'm sure you saw Captain Awesome's video at the airport the other day, and the other the gun dude that was there trolling him, and then he put up a video. Have you seen those videos?
I've seen some of them.
Did you see the troll video that the gun dude? I can't remember what his name is.
Yeah.
Don't really care.
Yeah. That's the one we were talking about because we're gonna do a live debate with him on Monday night. And we're gonna I'm doing it because I'm hoping that maybe he misspoke and maybe he realizes that we don't need to ask permission.
Yeah, you were like,
I've been looking at his Facebook page, and I got to tell you, I think he's going to double down on dumb. I really do, but I'm hoping for the best. And either way, we can exchange some good information. I don't think there's a debate format set up. At least I haven't heard of it yet.
Yeah, he was over the top. I mean, my goodness, accusing you of what he and the police were doing, and you were like the only one. You and the doctor were the only ones that were not getting anybody, not doing any of that crap. So, man, that was.
Yeah, it was. It was a surprise for me. I expected TSA to be idiots. I expected the cops to be idiots. And I do expect a lot of the citizens as well to be idiots, but very few come up and interact while I'm doing my spiel. Usually they'll wait till I'm done with them, and then they'll make snide comments or something along those lines. Or, one guy out, and God, I don't even Windermere. I believe I went to the post office out there. He tried to intimidate me by trying to back up on me with his BMW, his fake BMW.
Oh, the dude at TSA with me was crazy, though, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was surprised that the corporal, who was coming on real strong, he ended up joining. Somebody helped him spell TSA so he could look up the website and realize, wow, you really can do that.
Yep.
I just want to say one thing real quick. The guys that were out with us, they're the only ones who have the footage of my first ghost drone, like James Madison audit style. They were recording me because I was using my phone, acting like I was flying a drone at the airport. There was no drone in the sky, but I was walking around like this, looking for the drone. And the cop shows up. Poor Dirt Farmer and Rogue Nation are inside the airport, and the cop says, "You guys know about that guy who landed his drone on the roof? How did a non-existent drone end up on the roof all of a sudden?" That's what I want to know. But you can check it out on their channels.
That's hilarious.
The one guy is
right?
My Eyes on You, and the other dude is Dutchman Nation. And they're solid guys, man. Great people to work with.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, bring back news that's happening. What's up, so cool?
What you guys doing? I was waiting for an opening. How you guys doing? Right? Road, Solo. And I don't know if I know Indie News on the Street.
Indie News on the Street's legit. He's down in Indianapolis, so if you get in that area, hook up with him.
Yeah.
We should hook up. You know I fuck with Chuck B, Indy.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to getting up to Lafayette with him.
Yes, we hook up all the time.
Yeah, he was down here in Indy for the protests at the governor's mansion. Got to meet him there.
Cool. I saw that. So you guys went out with PDF today.
Yep.
You lucky fucks.
I get out with PDF every once in a while. Me and PDF have been up to Tallahassee twice. We went up to Jefferson County once with a gentleman named Forrest. That was actually the time I was Judge Awesome, and I was sitting in the judge's chair in the courthouse.
That was funny.
That
was great.
Hey, that's my girl. I gotta do all her at the ice cream shop. We on some dumb freaky stuff. But this is how PDF, in my opinion, this is his style. He is the kindest country gentleman in the world, right? Hello, officer. How are you? It's nice to meet you. They love him. And then out of nowhere, he'll pull out, by the way, do you know that rapist cop, Billy so-and-so? Do you know how much time he got? What about Officer so-and-so? Did he really beat that boy in the head with a bat? I'm like, damn, PDF, where that come from?
Hey, and he's the real deal, man. He knows his stuff. And you know what Rice said earlier was, whenever people want to know why we do this stuff, all we have to do is say Poor Dirt Farmer, because every day homie is posting story after story
multiple stories a day, right?
Yeah, of public officials just acting stupid, and
like you say, he knows his history too, man. That nigga got 500 videos and can refer to shit off the top of his head. All right, I'll be back. I got to do all this girl while she at the ice cream shop. Give me a minute.
Yeah.
That's all Joe needs is a minute.
Heard that only a minute.
Twice as long as you.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
excited about Monday, man. Monday's gonna be a good day. I usually have Tuesday, Thursday off, so I'm requesting Monday off just for that day. So
Yeah, we should have a pretty good little time. Like I said, it's probably going to be something free flowing.
yeah,
We'll just talk and see where we're coming from. I know a lot of people are mistaken about what they think the press is for, and yeah, I found a link the other day, and it had some quotes from some founding fathers and some other folks back in the day, and I can't remember where I put the link or what happened to it, but one of them said that the freedom of the press was meant to shame our public officials into doing the honorable thing. And that means something to me. That makes sense to me, okay? Because men do not do things usually unless they're made to. If it's something honorable and noble, throughout history, men have had to be made to do those kind of activities. I mean, like they say, without society, we'd live like animals, and look in a lot of third world countries where it's, a lot of the areas are run by warlords and stuff. Humans are the most atrocious animals on the planet. We will rape, murder, pillage, kill anybody that stands against us. So there needs to be accountability, whether it's accountability through the laws in jail or back in the day, if it was accountability, it was an eye for an eye back in the day. And, a lot of people say, well, there was no sheriffs. And, how did this stuff happen? Well, you come over and you steal from me, I chop off your hand. You come over and you kill my sister, then me and my brothers and my cousins, we're going to come and kill you. We don't need no judge to met out any kind of stuff like that.
Yeah, Israel didn't have a jail.
Hang on, let me flip this screen around here. Right, just showed me something here.
Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did, and it never will. Find out just what any people will quietly submit to, and you have found out exactly what measure of injustice and wrong which will be imposed upon them. And these will continue till they are resisted with their either words or blows or both. The limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance of those who they oppress.
Frederick Douglass.
And he's got numerous quotes about freedoms and how we're supposed to deal with them. And same thing how Rogue said, it's like when we show up with cameras, it puts them on record saying what they're saying. I went to a Brian Mast, the Congressman Brian Mast interview, and he would not let me record because he knew once he said whatever he said would go on record as him saying it. They don't ever want a camera. They don't ever want a microphone. They don't want nothing to hold them accountable for the things they say. And that's why I see it from both sides, whether it's all our freedoms, all our rights. If we don't stand for something, then these rights will go away. For all of the First Amendment auditors, you guys are holding down. Right now, we're slowly getting Second Amendment auditors, like a couple here, and that's how it all starts. It's just about planting a seed and letting your field grow. Once you plant the seed, it can only grow. If you let it die, it will die. If you don't feed it and you don't keep feeding it, it just dies. And that's what we don't want, is our rights to die. So
I'm helping a friend of mine run for be a state representative here in Indiana, the Republican primary, and one of his big issues is constitutional carry. And you shouldn't have to buy back. You don't need a permit to go to church. You don't need a permit to be free from unusual, cruel and unusual punishment. You don't need to buy a permit to keep them from housing soldiers in your house, and you shouldn't need a permit to carry a gun.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. Here's where
There's my
myth
permit.
meets reality.
There's my government permission slip right there.
We don't understand rights in this country. Very few people I found understand rights. They don't understand the difference between inalienable God-given rights and civil rights. Okay? They are completely opposite things. Okay? Completely opposite, night and day. An inalienable right is one that you are born with. And you could be born with this unalienable right, whether you were born in America, whether you were born in China, whether you were born in Japan, or whether you were born on an island by yourself, completely alone. Like if somehow some miracle conception by a coconut dropped you out of the tree, you were there by yourself. Okay? Nobody needed government to be set up and in order to defend themselves. When the Indians were here and we came over on the boat, they didn't need a government set up to say, hey, you have the right to defend yourself. Okay?
Right.
Men are born with those rights. But what happens is in any society, and this has gone on since society was born, whenever men enter into a society, they give up those natural rights in exchange for civil rights, rights that the society is deemed most important and most important to protect. Okay.
Can I say, bro, you said that before. I didn't understand. I thought about it, now I understand. You said that to me before.
Absolutely. And the reason why that is because our natural rights, okay, like using the example of cutting off someone's hand that is stolen from you. When you're not in society, back in the medieval ages, and you're living out in the woods, and somebody stole from you, you chop off their hand, and that was considered natural law, and you didn't over punish the person, because then you would be violating their natural rights, and that's where an eye for an eye came from. Equal justice, equal punishment for an equal crime. Now, when I'm out here in the woods, I'm chopping off people's hands and I'm living a good life, I think it's good, but I happen upon a village, the thatched hut, the thatched roof huts, and it's surrounded by a castle or whatever. And I'm like, man, this looks like a nice little area. I'd like to be involved in this society. So I go up and I knock on the castle walls or the doors or whatever. And I say, hey, I'm Rogue Nation. I want to live here. I want to be a part of your society. And they would tell you, well, that's cool. We don't mind you coming in here and staying with us, but you can't go around chopping people's hands off that steal from you. Here we have a court system, and we have, judges and jails and stuff like that. So if you want to be part of our society, you have to give up that right of meting out punishment to those who abuse you, and you have to give that over to the state.
And what if we don't?
Then you're not part of the society.
I don't want to be a part of that society. I know, but what can I do? I can't stay in my land, in my own little spot, and stay outside of your rules. I can't drive my car, get it my way, and stay outside of your rules. There's no room for that, right?
No, there's not, because
you understand, if I live here, I instantly have an agreement. If I'm born here, I instantly have an agreement. I have no other option except leave the country?
Pretty much.
Or join?
Pretty much. Now back in the day when the country was first started, that wasn't the case. You didn't have to submit to their rule because there was a lot of open land that wasn't claimed yet. So 500 years ago, you could absolutely live outside of society. Today, governments have claimed all land on Earth pretty much. I mean, if there's some land that isn't claimed on Earth by a government, you probably don't want to live there.
They even claim part of the moon and like asteroids and stuff.
Absolutely. So now what happens is even if you found the legal loophole, which is actually a status called stateless, even if you had the status of stateless, you're still on another sovereign's property.
He cut right out. Oh no. He was right in the middle of
I was
that.
about to switch the data. I thought it was my internet.
Nope, it was him.
I was switching the data as I heard you. When I heard you start laughing, I was switching to data. I thought it was me.
Nope, it was him. And I don't even know where he's gone now at this point either. Captain, where'd you go? Nope. Oh, I heard the roboto. Oh, yeah, kinda, not really though.
It's trying. I heard some roboting. I think that was you.
Oh, there he was again.
You're roboting. Bail and come back. Hit X and then hit the back button and you can come right back. Unless you're on the computer, I might be giving you shitty advice.
No, I think he's on mobile.
Yes, the little hit the X and then there's another button right where the X is at. Hit that again and you're right back into the stream.
Here he is.
All right, yeah, I'm back now.
There you go. We can hear you.
Around there.
Good deal. Good deal. But yeah, so when we speak about rights, a lot of people don't understand them. And that's why they don't understand that our rights that we have here in America, they can be restricted, they can be enlarged, or they can be taken away completely by the legislature. And you've seen that in Chicago, Joe, when they had the gun ban there for 30 years.
You robot, you or me.
Wouldn't it?
No, it's him again.
I said, logically, it would seem that everybody in Chicago has a Second Amendment right. But yet still, the state of Illinois, the city of Chicago, took that right from people. Okay. And it took them, 30 years before they got that right back? So.
And still, there's many caveats. Like they can't make it a felony. It was a felony to even own a pistol. Now they can't make that a felony anymore. But anybody with, I don't know what type of record you have to have, this, that, and the opposite. I think you can only own a shotgun if you a felon or some shit. They got some caveats involved.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They always do, because again, civil rights are rights that society has given to us. It's not something that our maker has given to us, okay?
As opposed to natural rights. I hear you, as opposed to natural rights, yeah.
Right. And anybody can logically figure out what's a natural right and what's not a natural right by realizing what rights you would have alone on an island. You wouldn't have a right to a speedy trial. Right. You wouldn't have a right to a jury of your peers.
Or Rogue, even two of y'all on that island. You know I can't harm him because I don't want no one to harm me. You know I can't do this because I wouldn't want no one to do it to me. Even they don't know your fucking natural rights.
Right. And again, a lot of times people will argue with me about that and say, no, we've got inalienable rights, we've got natural rights. It said so in the Declaration. An easy way to get them to shut up is to tell them to cite you a case of a natural right or an inalienable right violation. Okay? They won't be able to do it.
Rogue, I want that. I want someone that ain't been tested. I need someone to test that theory. I need someone to say that I was born with natural rights, because shit in the Constitution, they say we were born with certain, they say inalienable. They do not say natural. That shit should be obvious.
Right. Well, unalienable rights are natural rights, and you know
All right. So,
there's some word trickery in the Declaration of Independence, which we can see logically when Thomas Jefferson says all men are created equal with God-given rights, when he himself owned slaves that weren't considered men or his equal and that had absolutely no rights. So there's some word
when they
trickery in the
continue to put,
Declaration.
and they continue to put three people, 3/5 of, after stating we're all born equal. So yes, there's some playing going along in there.
Right, right, and it all has to do with
So, yeah.
with legal terms and legal words, okay? Because listen, Jefferson didn't lie when he said all men were created equal. It's just that most people don't understand what's called a status, okay? And for those of us that are familiar with anthropology, we know that
I am.
yeah, we know that society throughout history has always broken up the members of society by what's called a status. Okay. And to this day, there are still statuses. Okay. And people don't realize what their status is. Okay. A couple of statuses that you will
Interesting
find.
fact. Hold on.
Yeah.
Please remember the status is an interesting fact before we leave anthropology. There were 5 separate types of human on this planet. I don't know, 10,000 years ago, the last one started dying off. But at one point, 5 separate different types of human on this planet at the same time. So do not think that we came up from primordial ooze, if you believe that, and turned into Homo sapiens. There was the Hobbit, Australopithecus, Australopithecine, there's Homo sapien. There were at least 5. The Hobbit, I don't know the real name, but they called them Hobbit people. They were the last because they were on a separate island. Different strands of human, totally different types of human. Imagine that shit walking around at the same time, not very long ago. Speaking, I don't know, glacially speaking. I'm sorry, rogue status.
All right, so we're getting back to status. BX Press asks.
That's interesting to me.
BX Press asks, "What is the status of a U.S. citizen?" The status of a U.S. citizen is a.
Oh, he cuts out.
I'm gonna put y'all in my pocket. I gotta carry groceries upstairs. I'm gonna put y'all in my pocket.
Next week.
All right.
All right.
Bro?
Can you hear me?
There you are.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it keeps dropping me out here, man. I'm in the boonies.
Well, stay still.
Yeah, right.
You need to use that Wi-Fi that you got there, man.
Oh yeah, I forgot. There's free Wi-Fi here. Holy shit!
So come on, get with. Hey, Rogue. I kind of know how old you are, and I know that we're a little behind technology, but we're not that far behind.
No.
Come on, man. You know about Wi-Fi.
Status of the U.S.
You need to go back. Yeah, now you can. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm standing in the same spot. I don't know why I keep dropping, but I'll try to get through it real quick. But status of the U.S. citizen is a status of a subject. Other statuses in the U.S. law consist of person, husband, wife, felon, taxpayer is a status, and public servant is a status as well. And in the law, the public servant status is higher than the citizen status, the taxpayer status, the husband-wife status. See, the self-governing of the United States by we the people, specifically, we the people means every one of us. So none of us are individual bosses of the public servants. The public servants work for us as a whole. Unfortunately, we could never come together as a whole because there's too many of us. There would be no place that would fit us all. So we have to rule through our representatives, and that's how they got us. And they got us from the very beginning because they knew this is the way it was going to be. Okay, so what the statuses are in America is we the people. No one of us has ever seen we the people. None of us will ever see we the people. Okay, there's no way to get 330 million Americans in one room at one time. You will never ever see we the people. Who you will see is the guys we elected to represent we the people. Okay? Now,
bro, let me interrupt you, bro. Can we now, with modern technology, is there some way that we can do a fucking 300 million conference call or something? Can we show up now virtually? Just ask.
I mean, I again, untech savvy, but I couldn't imagine that being done in any way that would be, I guess I could say, productive. I mean, look at most live streams. You got 6 people on it. They talk over each other. Can you imagine 330
I would agree.
million
Not all
people?
of us talking, but represented somehow. Not all of us talking, not all of our faces, but represented somehow with an up vote, down vote. We can all appear at the same time, or can we?
Solo's got his hand up.
I don't know. I mean,
Solo's so animated. I just thought he was, you know how he get out, man. I just thought he was being animated.
But no, seriously, like how you were saying, like that, and he said it perfectly. If you look at the Constitution, they almost adopted. We talk about communism and how socialism. Oh, it's never worked anywhere. And that's what our government did. They were like, we're going to take what they had and try to make it better. And we have made it better. We did give a lot of freedoms. And that's the difference, is we've given a lot of those freedoms, but right now we're losing those freedoms.
I was about to say, what freedoms were we given?
Hold on there. Yeah. See, without people like us standing up, we will lose these freedoms.
I got you. I understand.
That's where I was going with this. And we're looking at, our government was already created with a government in mind. They had, instead of the people just controlling their state, it was saying, hey, we have to have government officials to help control the state. And then those government officials overstep those boundaries like they are exactly at this moment. I mean, even beyond this moment, it was even right. Like I say this moment because I'm seeing a lot of crap that's happening, not just in Chicago, across the nation, where they're violating people's rights, arresting people for doing nothing, for trying to go back to normal. And that's why I say that's what I was trying to get out. So I hope I got that out. Now you're good.
G5 is how they're going to do that big conference call. That's what G5 is all about.
Yeah. You know, you can call your congressman, you can call all the people you want. They really honestly don't listen. Most of them really honestly don't care until it affects them. Until they're being sued or they're being,
sometimes they don't even care then.
Well, right, because as we can see from the power structure, the boss, we the people, can never be reached on the phone. You know what I mean? You can never email we the people. You can never stop by we the people's office. So our elected representatives, even though they say they're beholden to the citizens because we get the vote, that's an illusion of freedom, my friend, because it's the government itself who counts the votes.
I heard this somewhere, and I can't remember exactly where. Maybe one of you guys could remind me, but I heard somebody say, power does what it wants. Power does what it wants.
Yeah. And that's the truth. It's 100% the truth. Those that have the power will do what they want, how they feel they want.
That's right.
Without the people standing up against that and actually challenging it, and that's why I appreciate every First Amendment auditor, whether I don't agree how they go their approach. I appreciate it because even though they're standing up and they're fighting back, they're not taking crap no more. And that's what even the average day guy that's like, I want to be respectful. I have respect for the law enforcement guy or whoever. They're getting sick of it because the law enforcement guy is telling them they can't do what they want to do. And people are not just First Amendment. I mean, people are just standing up in general, and that's what we need. We the people need to stand up together. Let's just say there's 30 million law enforcement, politicians, whatever. I think it's actually a lot less than that. But then there's 300 million of average day citizens that if we all stand together, we take over them.
That's the key, right? We all stand together. I've talked to a lot of smart people, and I'm including myself in there. I even believe the first step is to stand together. But but that might be a little vague. How do we accomplish that? That's the hard part, right? Even if we get together, we need an idea that everyone can agree upon to rally around. Otherwise, we're going to go back and we're going to separate, and everybody's going to go back their own way. We need that solid idea that's so movable, that's so provocative. Everybody can get behind it. We're talking about huge numbers here. Or am I out on a limb here?
I mean, technically, if you really think about it, the way America was formed, it was, if you've heard of the three percenters,
yeah,
it only took 3% of the population to beat the British. So
very good. Thank you for that.
And that's what I would say. We only need 3% of that 300 million. But but the way technology is, we have to understand that we're going to be going against an opposition with a lot of firepower. But I don't care. I'm willing. Go ahead, brother.
I was going to say, yes, thank you for reminding me that. I feel better. I thought my task was long. I have to do the work, but I thought my task was overwhelming. And you got a great point. And your point that with technology, we're going to fight a great enemy. Remember, with technology, we can gather more. We can gather more than the 3% for sure. If we do this shit right. So we got a shot here.
It's about, and like you said, it's about the message. It's what are we willing to stand for that connects everybody. It's not just about Second Amendment rights. It's not about First Amendment rights. It's about one of our given rights, whether it's God-given or whether it's in the Constitution. There's something that we all stand behind, and once we dial it in the way it's worded, I think that we can draw that movement, and that's what we're waiting for. One of us is going to spawn somebody that's going to come
I'm about to spawn that nigga right now. Rogue. I hope you're listening. I hope you agree that we need that idea. What you got, baby? What is that idea that we're going to rally behind? It's going to unify all of us. And like Solo said, if it's Second Amendment, some people ain't going to feel it. Can't be gay rights, can't be black rights. What is it that everybody is willing to rally behind and unify us? Speak to us, so wise one.
I'll be a soldier for it. I'm a soldier.
You robot, Rogue, we can't hear you. We can't hear you, robot. No, I'm kidding.
All right. I was going to say, it looks like I got good signal. You know what's going to unify people, and it's always what has unified people against the tyrannical leadership. It's an empty belly. So when Americans aren't at home eating steak, drinking Budweiser, then they'll rally. But until a man is fat and full on the couch, his ass ain't getting up. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. But
I think that's been proven. I think that's been proven right now with these people who can't work. These people who have been content to watch my unemployment live in double digits my entire life. Now that it's affecting them, they are getting up and getting out. I think we're seeing it now. That belly shit.
There are people in Venezuela that they can't even get meat, so they go to the butcher and they're waiting in long lines to get some blood, just to have blood from the butcher to put in their rice.
You know, you were talking earlier about the numbers of there are in law enforcement right now. Well, the most recent year we have statistics for is 2012. There were 750,340 sworn law enforcement officers, and
Oh my
the
goodness.
most there's ever been was 768,287. When you put that in a population of 325 million, that's not that many.
Yes, but you consider that they are centralized though in neighborhoods like mine, and I mean not in Chicago. I mean even other auditors. When we're in a car and we got visitors in from out of town, they talk about my shit like it's Beirut. They be like, now when we go into Joe neighborhood, it's gonna be different. This is not normal. They're centralized, and they may be. It doesn't sound like it's a lot to you. It looks like it's a lot to me. That's where I'm going with that. Oh my God! If I sit out there 6 minutes, I see 6 cop cars. They're thick around here.
Yeah.
And we got more cameras out here somewhere that any given spot, you have an average of being on 20 cameras at a given time in Chicago. We have more cameras than anyone on the planet right now. And those also are centralized here in my neighborhood. We're being watched, and they're testing fucking army balloons they say they want to eventually use against drug dealers in South America. Where are they testing them? Over Chicago.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. No one else in your area. I'd like to say this, but advertising for tobacco and alcohol is targeted in your area 3 times to 1 than the posh suburbs up north of Chicago.
I'm aware.
And that's prevalent all over the country. But I spent a lot of time in that area up there too, and I can specifically tell you when I was a kid up there in Hegwish, there was a street, and on 3 of the 4 corners there were bars. Okay, and if you look at the way cities give out permits for things like liquor stores and allow advertising like billboard targeting, go ahead and drive through an affluent community and count the liquor stores and the alcohol and tobacco advertising, and then drive across town into the poorer areas and then count the liquor stores, bars, and the advertising for tobacco and alcohol, and you'll see a marked difference. And the same thing goes. Hold on.
Okay.
Hold on. The same thing goes for police profiling. It's not that these people in poorer areas commit more crime. It's just that the police are there more of the time and able to catch the crime. Okay.
Exactly. Therefore, the stats are gonna. You put more police, they're gonna report more stats. Then they're gonna say, "Oh, there's more crime. We need police. More police."
A lot of people don't realize that Chicago is the most segregated city on earth, more than Johannesburg.
It has been. All of my life has been so. One of the most segregated cities my entire life. Bro, when I was young, that billboard shit
the point
you
that
just said
is not about race. It is a class problem.
Agreed. When I was young, I was active. In my community. Actually, I was fucking active all over the United States. I was one of the top 20 activists chosen and all that bullshit to go around the country, blah, blah, blah. But one day, some friends of mine and other organizations were going, to meet at a college somewhere, and they were about to trying to get a grant or something. Somebody wanted them to do a thing. They asked me to go with them. I went with them at the last minute. Turned out what they wanted us to do was count the billboards, tell us what was on us, which ones were blank, which one had what kind of ads. They was really interested in cigarette ads and detrimental ads, in my opinion. And they wanted to know other opportunities where billboards could go up. and they wanted us to recruit kids from the schools to go count these billboards and say what's on them so they could put them to use. And I was like, this sounds like, you know, some sneaky stuff. Who's offering this money? And the guy looks at the whoever brought us there. He didn't say anything. And I asked him again, who give us this money? Where's this coming from? He said the government. I say, I figured that. Which part? The guy says DEA. And, you know, I was like, no, I'm not down. And the rest of us, we didn't do it. But it got done. And now you have those statistics on every fucking billboard. They also wanted they wanted us to gather the crime statistics and all that and make a map saying that how many crimes occurred in our neighborhood, where they were, and all of that shit. How much money the people spent for mortgage. They had a way that they were going to figure that out with this. How much do the person live here that owns the property? Do they live on the property? They wanted all of our fucking details back then, and this was 30 years ago.
Yeah, and they're still asking for all the details now, and just more and more.
You know, they're just asking you for permission to be able to get it whenever you sign onto your phone. You know, they don't even want to ask you the questions face to face anymore. They don't want to say, "Hey," they just say, "Hey, turn on your phone in the morning."
Yeah,
that's all we need.
We need this fusion center to work here.
Yeah, that's another tracking system, man. I mean, as much as we need, I mean, I won't say as much as we need it, but as much as we use our cell phones and all that, it's all tracking. Like, at the end of the day, if they wanted to find out where you were at any given time, they can find it.
They're going to. I'm pretty sure it's in that $3 trillion bill that they just passed that we were watching the debit card about. That they're putting tracking into it because it's claiming on the COVID-19. Mm-hmm.
There's all kinds of shit that they're doing that we have no clue about.
We got to track
5,000 patents that are labeled top secret classified that we don't know nothing about.
Mm-hmm.
These guys could have the Starship Enterprise sitting out at Area 51 with death rays.
They probably do.
Klingons. that they invented from test tubes, and we have no clue about it because, again, these patents are labeled top secret, classified.
And that's what they have already. There's stuff they're even planning even worse than that. They're like, oh shit, look what we made. Look at what happened to the presidency. Before, it used to be like a thing, and I'm not saying just this last administration, but the last few administrations have just made it into this thing where it's not the best and our brightest up there. Even you know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. It's just the standards have dropped everywhere, not just in our government, but you can't order a steak and get it how you want it. You go to the doctor, over 100,000 people die in hospitals a year from medical malpractice. That's a 777 airplane full of people crashing every day. And, and a lot of it is in Florida. That's why they have the highest medical malpractice insurance. But, yeah, the standards have
it's
dropped.
time we do that for cops, by the way. Cops need carry their own insurance.
And the reason for this is it's because of the Karens. No offense to,
Yep.
But yeah, no, the Beckys and the Janets out there. and those people just messing it up for everybody.
Yeah.
I'm talking on Rogue's thing, sorry.
all I know is that that's why even when I'm gonna be dead shit honest right now. When I first started watching YouTube, like First Amendment audits, I was like, oh, these guys are friggin' a bunch of assholes. And
my defense attorney,
I'm gonna be dead shit honest. Like, and we're going back like 4 or 5 years.
Some of them are.
Some are, but I'm not saying. But even those ones that I might be an asshole, it's still it's the right in them holding that cop accountable because they're just saying fuck you, keep doing your fucking job. They're just saying, hey, look, I'm not here. I'm just here watching you. take care of whoever you're dealing with or whatever. Like,
so you watch
James
James too,
it's
huh?
still the right. It's the right. Because how many times have we seen other people's videos of them documenting a police and there's a shooting, and the news wasn't there when it happened. It was some other bystander, and that's a First Amendment audit. Even though that person might not have been a First Amendment auditor, that was the audit. It was holding them accountable and showing them either whether it was justified or not, at least documenting it so that it could be justified.
Solo, let me ask you a question then, and this goes for everybody on panel. By your description of what just happened there, a cop watcher is probably defined as someone who stands off and just documents what happened. Right. Now, let's say it's me. I can't keep my mouth shut. I got a problem. The cop goes in someone's pocket. I'm gonna walk up and be like, "Hey, you can't go in his pocket. Did he ask you to search his car, sir? You have the right to decline." Now, am I cop watching, or did I just move into something else?
You did not, because you are trying to inform. You're educating somebody that's uneducated at that time. I'm not, and that's why I say I'm not going to criticize what. There are some that are just like straight blatant, just straight out the go. And I don't even criticize them. It's their right. They have that right. They want the cop to do what their job is. And when their cop turns that direction on you, he shouldn't even be looking at you. He should be doing his fucking job. And that's why I say I don't criticize. Is it for me? Let me rephrase it. Is it me? No, I'm not that person. Is it for anybody else? Absolutely. It's a personal.
I got a great example on panel right now. When I came into this thing, I thought motherfuckers who did libraries and post office were insane. And Rogue fucking evacuating the fucking DMV, I think it was. I was like, I was wrong again. Farther than me. I forget, I don't know if it was Rogue or Rights. I think it was a GA or Rights. One of them was like, "Joe, if you don't pile up the paperwork, you ain't did nothing. If you don't follow up, they don't feel you." I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah, but
it says
going through the whole other half of it, with the complaint forms or whatever, and doing, all the way up until litigation, and like once you get to that level, and depending on what has happened, how that deprivation of rights has happened,
right?
That's where the accountability, because that's why we have those codes, is to hold somebody accountable for restricting the right. And that's why I say the right is more important than how they do it. If they want to be how they want to be, if they want to, I'm not saying you, I'm not saying anybody. I respect you, because something I've watched I'm actually catching up on your videos, and it's about them ignoring you. If they just ignored you, nothing would happen. You would be able to document. But as soon as they turn,
which is the law, don't interfere. I'm entitled to record, so don't interfere. Which is the law? Just follow the law. Leave me alone.
Yeah, and give me my 15, 20 feet or whatever I can get up to, so I can document and hear what's going on. Just leave me alone. But no, they got to go. They've got to push their intimidation tactics.
You got a problem? Can I help you with something? Keep it moving. They gotta say something. Nick told me that shit early on. You ain't gotta say shit, Joe. Let them come to you. And he was right, man. After they look at you about 2-3 times, they about to come over there.
Yep.
I even learned that I'm not even like the First Amendment auditor guy. I've just done them in same principle. I walked into a post office, and I'm literally staring at like poster 7, and somebody was like, "Oh, you can't be in here." Da, da, da. I'm like, but it's right. I'm looking at it like, how are you gonna tell me? And it's like, and like, I tell them like, "Hey, look, it's your like the same rules and responsibilities I have as a chef to make sure I don't kill people with food. Those motherfuckers have a responsibility to understand the rules and regulations of federal law.
perhaps even equal to or perhaps more so, because as a chef, you're probably not getting government bread. If these guys, if the people are paying your bills, perhaps they have even more of a right to follow the laws and shit than or more of an obligation to follow the laws and be held accountable than the average person. A chef, your obligation is high as well, because you're dealing with feeding people, and you can get them sick and all. But again, their standard is high as well.
Federal, but we all, as cooks or chefs or whatever, we understand that cooking raw chicken and serving raw chicken could potentially kill somebody, and that's our end goal. Is we understand what to do and not to do, and at their level, there are the same principles, like I've heard of videos of somebody videotaping a postal worker throwing mail away in the trash because they didn't want to finish their friggin' route. Like, how
about the day after the news shows these hospitals, it's hustling and bustling, it's overflowing. One of us will go up there that night or the next day, and that same lot will be empty, empty tent or a police car parked in there, and they'll go talk to the employees. Well, all these COVID patients I heard about, we don't have any patients yet.
We're geared up for it, we're ready.
Dude, I went to 3 different COVID places, and I think I saw all the employees, no mask, all violating their 6-foot distance, eating lunch together on one part picnic bench. And I'm like, you guys been busy? No, you can't record here, sir. I'm like, but are you guys? I'm like, come on, really? I'm like, there ain't nobody here. You guys are just sitting here snacking, chilling, having a good day. Like, that's the fake news. And then there's, like, I really wish you could sell like a lot of your videos to real news, like when you cover some of the same things and you cover it and then they try to cover it.
I think the problem is the problem. I agree, but the problem there inherent in that is that the real news needs to be in with the cops to get their story. They have to be friends, so they can't be airing shows where I'm exposing people. I've talked to a lot of cops off camera, and a lot of them, the young ones, have good ideas. They'll tell you in a heartbeat, it's not us. We don't want to be arresting people for crimes, victimless crimes. It's our bosses. We'd like to tell them, but if we speak out, we will be punished. So I'm like, even if I show a video of you saying these good things and being on our side, it'll hurt you. I can't even post this fucking vid as much as I'm loving you right now. It would hurt you amongst your own.
Yeah, we saw that with whether it's true or not. That guy Greg Anderson.
Yes.
Like that video for me, I got there's like 500,000 views on that, and all I did was just repost it in its entirety. And I'll tell you right now, if he was extremely honest and truthful, he was a good officer. The way he spoke and the way he explained himself. I've heard all the conspiracy theories on both sides, every which way.
Yeah.
If the way he said it on video, if it was truthful, I commend him for it. If it was false, I'll take that video down and I'll donate that money back out to the people, because I don't want I don't want the money from a good video, because I thought it was something that was honest, but I've seen a lot of stuff.
I would say be patient. I would say just because he said 4 years ago he quit the force, maybe he did. Everybody running with that. I did some investigation. I can't find nothing to disprove. In fact, the only thing I can find shit that it looks like he was in the service again at the time. Every story I see is talking about kicking him out.
Josiah?
I'll
Robbie
go. I
I'm
will
sorry,
be.
Indy. Hold on, Solo. Indy was trying to say something. Say again. No, Indy, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I thought I was muted. I was telling my son something about somebody.
Listen, guys, I got to bounce, so I'm gonna dip out of here.
All right.
Yep, I think I need to too. We've been on for almost 2 hours now. So
All right, that makes three of us. Then you can't be easy, man. Nice rapping with you.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Later on, Joe Cool, man. Rogue, have a great night. Eyes on the state.
Thank you, Solo.
Indies news on the street, and bang, hit that like, share, and then subscribe.
Thank you, guys.
Hey guys, it was great talking to you guys.
Peace.
Great talking to you guys.
Later.
Thank you. Make sure everybody checks us out Thursday, 9 o'clock, correct?
Thursday at 9.
Thursday at 9. Stay tuned for what's coming up from that. I don't know if you want to put out what's coming up on Thursday yet or not, but it should be a good show.
We've talked about it already. We got Honest Citizen coming on to tell us his story. He was recently charged with terroristic threatening, and so we're going to give him a platform to get his story out, and see if we can get some help for him as well.
Yep. All right. Well, everybody have a good night. Thank you all for joining us. Make sure you pound that like, share. Have a good
Slap
evening.
that like. Yep. Slap that like a redheaded stepchild.
Woo!
We just lost James Madison Audits as a sub.
Later.